Uh, okay, student, we're talking about the calculation of stock loss. Calculation of stock loss. Stock loss is calculated by opening inventory. Opening inventory plus purchase minus closing inventory equals to cost of goods sold. Okay. Opening inventory is given on top 6,000. Purchases we have calculated from requirement number A. The total purchase for the year was 88,200. 88,200. Total purchase for the year was 88,200 and I hope you can see this. Wait a minute. Oh, see, see. 88,200 plus the minus the closing inventory. If we read the question carefully, I'm talking about part B. Okay, part B, the statement given here. Some inventory was in stock at the selling price. You know, inventory cannot be recorded at the selling price. Okay, so this is given in this point. This is given this point. Aziz earned uniform gross profit of 40% on all sales figure. 40% on sales figure. Okay, and early in June 2012 he had a flood in the premises which damaged some of his stock and made it can you see this and made it impossible to sell. He has valued its remaining stock at the 30th June 2012 at the selling price of 14,000. Okay, so what you have to do, we cannot record the stock at the selling price, never. Okay, so he has found some inventory left over. The value of the inventory at the selling price was 14,000, and what we have to do, the closing inventory which is given here, which is 14,000, not the 14,000, we have to minus profit from 14,000 to get the inventory at the cost price. So closing inventory is given at the 14,000. So 14,000, I have to minus the profit from it. Profit which is 40% of 14,000. So this will give you 8,400 at the cost price. 8,400 at the cost price. This is the closing inventory at selling price. This is the closing inventory. If you see this is the closing inventory at selling. This is the closing inventory at the selling price, and this is closing inventory at the cost price. So we have to minus closing inventory at the cost price here, as given in the paragraph for this stock loss calculation. He has valued closing inventory at 14,000 at the selling price. So we cannot record closing inventory at the selling price. Since the gross profit margin is given, which is 40% on sales, so that means this selling price minus 40%, which is the gross profit. Okay, with gross profit we have to minus profit from it. This will give you closing inventory at cost price and cost of goods sold, the last information. And similarly, we have already calculated sales figure in requirement number. We have already calculated sales figure in requirement number B. Sales is 142,000, right? So 142,000 sales, right? 142,000 sales. 142,000 sales. From sales, you have to minus the gross profit. 142,000 multiplied by 40%, right? 40% of 142,000, let me calculate. 142,000, 40% equals 256,800 with the profit. Okay, when you minus profit from it, this will give you cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold minus 142,000, right? 85,200 is your cost of goods sold. This cost of goods sold will be recorded here, 85,200. Okay, so again we cannot record selling price. Sales 142,000, sales we cannot record it here. Sales includes always profit margin. We have cost of goods sold. The cost of goods sold is equals to when we minus profit from sales. Okay, profit, when we'll minus profit from sales figure will give you cost of goods sold. So these all are workings. Actually requirement was to calculate stock destroyed. This is the formula to calculate stock destroyed. Opening inventory plus purchases minus closing inventory minus cost of goods sold, and this will be equals to $600. Okay, this is stock lost. Stock lost. Okay, and you should know that the examiner might ask you MCQs. Double entry of stock lost is equals to income statement debit and purchases credit by 600. We cannot credit stock. Okay, you have to minus it from purchases. When I was looking the marking scheme, it is somehow treated in this closing inventory of loss of 600. It is wrongly done in the marking scheme, I think. Okay, that is why I'm solving this past paper question. So make sure double entry of stock lost is income statement debit and the purchase credit. This is the requirement number C. Now I'm going to the last requirement number D, where you're required to calculate the profit or loss on disposal of assets. This is very easy. Okay, the last requirement, I'm solving last requirement, right, which is requirement number D. Then I will okay, the last requirement, requirement D. For requirement D, I have to make a disposal account. Okay, for requirement D, I have to make a disposal account, right? Disposal account. Okay, for the disposal account, I'm going to read this requirement. Last requirement says the vehicle which is the vehicle which Aziz sold during the year ended 30 June 2012 had been purchased on 30 September 2009 for 16,000. Okay, the cost of the vehicle which has been bought few years ago at a cost of 16,000. Okay, then we have to minus accumulated depreciation. This vehicle has been exchanged. Okay, and the exchange allowance and the sold for. The difference you can find loss or gain. Okay, so accumulated 16,000 total, and the accumulated depreciation you have to count for the equipment which is been sold for how many years. So and the depreciation policy. I'm just reading that Aziz depreciated his equipment vehicle at 25% per annum using the straight line method. He charged a full year depreciation in the year of purchase but none in the year of disposal. He received 5,000 as an exchange allowance for the new vehicle. Okay, so exchange allowance is 5,000 for the new vehicle. Exchange allowance. Sometimes the exchange allowance is given and we won't receive money, we have to pay money. That all depend on. Okay, so that means here the equipment you have exchanged, you are exchanging it by the more than the selling price. That is why your difference you are receiving. Okay, so if you see in the cash book, that sales of old equipment or vehicle is 3,600. Okay, sale of old vehicle is given 3,600. Okay, 3,600 given here. So what we have to do, this vehicle was bought on 30th September 2009 and has sold on 30th June 2012, and his policy says no depreciation year of disposal. That means the equipment you have charged depreciation for 2010 and 2011, not for 2012. That means their 2 year depreciation will be charged. Okay, 16,000 multiply by depreciation policy 25% and multiply by 2 years. 16,000 multiplied by 25% for depreciation multiplied by 2 years. This will be equals to 8,000 total accumulated depreciation for 2 years. Okay, when you add this, total of this side is let me check it, is 8,000 plus 5,000 and plus 3,600. Total this side is 16,600, 16,600 and minus 16,600 will be your gain. The gain will be transferred to the income statement, 16,600. Okay, 16,600. This will be minus on the income statement. This will be added in the income statement. Okay, so class, is one thing which I would like to explain. Normally what happens when there is an exchange allowance, the bank won't come here. Okay, when we exchange allowance, normally we pay money. Okay, in this example, in this question paper, maybe you are exchanging the vehicle with the more selling price. Okay, that means there is a gain. Usually in exchange allowance there is a loss, because when you exchange your old vehicle with the new vehicle, the value of old vehicle will be always usually less than with the new one. That difference you have to pay. This won't come. This normally will not come in the disposal account when the asset been exchanged. But this case is different. In this case, if you receive money by exchanging, that means that there is a gain also. So that you have to two different scenarios. Okay, this is one positive came for this concept. Okay, so then you have to check it out. This is very important. When you receive money by exchanging, you have to record the money received as well. There is exchange allowance and there is gain. When you pay money for exchanging, we will not record here. There is the loss. Okay. Now last requirement, requirement number E, which is prepare the income statement. When we draw the income statement, I'm going to solve it. Okay, when you will prepare income statement, the last requirement number E, income statement for 30th June 2012. For 30th June 2012, right? We're starting with the sales total. We will start with the sales total figure. Total sales figure given here, 142,000, which we already have calculated. From sales minus cost of goods sold, opening inventory. Opening inventory is given here, which is the 6,000. This purchase we have already calculated. Purchases we have already calculated, 88,200. Okay, 88,200 and minus stock lost. Okay, this is the wrongly solved in the marking scheme. Okay, you have to check it out. So stock 88,200 minus 600. Okay, 87,600. 87,600 stock lost, and then closing inventory. You already have closing inventory, I think 8,400. Cost price minus it. This will give you cost of goods sold 85,200. 85,200. Okay, and this is gross profit. Let me check it. 6,000 plus 87,600 minus 8,400, 85,200 minus 142,000, 56,800 gross profit. 56,800 gross profit. Then add discount received. We don't have discount received here. We don't have discount received here, but we have the gain on sale of vehicle. Okay, we have the gain on sales of vehicle. Think so. 600. There was $600. $600. Okay, 57,400. 57,400. Then after all, we have to minus expenses. After all the minus expenses, again you have to draw expense account and the vehicle account for calculating depreciation, right? Then can apply in the income statement. First of all, stock lost $600. stock loss will minus for purchases will be will be recorded as an expense income statement. Okay, double entry I told you earlier. The double entry of stock loss equals to purchases credit, income statement debit. Then depreciation of fixture and fitting. Depreciation of fixture and fittings. Depreciation of fixture and fittings. We have two non-current assets given here: fixture and fittings and the motor vehicle. And the depreciation of motor vehicle, we have to calculate that, and there are some expenses. For this you have to show your workings. Okay, so I'm showing you working here for calculating depreciations and the expense account for recording expenses in the income statement, right? So first of all, depreciation on working number 1, depreciation of fixture and fittings. Okay, when you will calculate our depreciation on fixture and fittings, let me check it. Fixtures, and we must know the policy of depreciation. It must be given here. This depreciate fixture and fittings 10% per annum using the reducing balance method. Here 10% reducing balance method, and you also create a provision for deferred debts, which is 3% of his trade receivable at 30th June 2012. Okay, this is another thing of creating provision for deferred debts. Then provision for deferred debts. There is another expense. Provision for deferred debts. Okay, so when you will calculate the depreciation on fixtures and fittings, then you can see the cost of fixture and fittings. Book value fixture and fitting 32,000. Okay, so 32,000 multiplied by 10%, 3,200. So 3,200 is the depreciation of fixture and fittings. Fixture and fittings 3,200, and the depreciation of motor vehicle, working number 2, depreciation on motor vehicle. How will you get the depreciation on motor vehicle? For that you have to make a motor vehicle T account. Okay, so I'm going to make motor vehicle account, right? The depreciation of motor vehicle policy 25% per annum using the straight line method. Okay, so you have to make a motor vehicle account. So at cost, opening balance of motor vehicle at cost is given. Motor vehicle at cost was $65,000. Okay, and there's a motor vehicle bought for the year. $20,000. A motor vehicle disposal for the year. Motor vehicle disposal for the year $16,000. Cost of motor vehicle disposed $16,000, and there's balance CD. Okay, 65,000 plus 20, 85,000 minus 16,000. This is 69,000. This is the closing balance of motor vehicle. On this closing balance, on the 69,000, we can charge the depreciation policy 25% on cost. It was to 17,250. This is depreciation of motor vehicle. 17,250. 17,250. Class, one thing you have to keep in mind here, why I've recorded 20,000 here. Okay, because if you see in the question paper, purchase of vehicle is given 15,000 plus exchange allowance. 15,000 plus exchange allowance 5,000, it will be equals to cost of new vehicle. Okay, keep in mind, cost of new vehicle is always calculated payment for the new vehicle plus exchange allowance equals to cost of new vehicle bought. So we cannot record 15,000 here. Record the cost of new vehicle was 20. However, you have paid 15,000 and the remaining was exchange allowance. Or you can also record this by this way. Exchange allowance 5,000 and the cash 15,000. Okay, this makes total. Is also acceptable. This will not affect your answer. So depreciation motor vehicle 17,250. Though I'm showing working number 3. Working number 3, which is the expense account, and the last working for doubtful debts. Working number 3. So for that you have to make expense account. So expense account, the opening balance of expense account, accrued expense opening given is owing BD. Expense owing BD is given there. Expense owing BD 500 is given on top. Expenses paid for the year. Expenses paid for the year given in the cash book. Expenses paid 17,400. Okay, and if you see the last information, expenses owing CD, prepaid CD, which is where is the prepaid CD? Turn your page. Expenses, I'm talking about back side. Okay, on the, if you see the question paper back side, they're all expenses PD. Okay, prepaid expenses 320 is given there. Prepaid expenses and prepaid CD 320. You can add this. Difference will be transferred to the income statement. Okay, difference will be transferred to income statement 16,580. 16,580. This is an expense. 16,580. 16,580 is an expense. And the last expense is the doubtful debts. Working number 4. Provision for doubtful debts. Okay. So it is policy of the business provision for doubtful debts to be created in the back side of the question paper 3% of trade receivable. Okay, and trade receivable closing balance. Trade receivable closing balance is given already in the question paper. Okay, which we have already recorded in the SLCA. See, you can see the closing balance of trade receivable. You can see the closing balance of trade receivable. Wait a minute. Okay, this is the closing balance of trade receivable. Right. This is closing balance of trade receivable and trade payable before requirement number A. Okay, you can catch it from here. Closing balance of trade receivable is given at 30th June 2012. Trade receivable were 20,500. On 20,500, and doubtful debt percentage is 3%. Take 3% of this. Okay, 20,500 multiplied by 3% is 615. 615 is the allowance for doubtful debts. Okay, class. The 615 is allowance for doubtful debts, is an expense for doubtful debts. 615. There are 5 expenses only. You can add all these expenses. The total expense equals to 38245. 38245. Minus it. The remaining will be a net profit 19,155. 19,155 is a net profit. Okay. So this is the how this paper you better solve it. This paper came in November 2012, paper 2-1, question number 1. Okay, I have tried my level best to let you people understand this question paper. If there is still things not clear, you're most welcome to ask me. Okay, and as to all further questions, you better solve it. This worksheet contains maximum 18 past papers. Okay, you have to solve all papers, and any problem you are most welcome to ask me. Okay, thank you very much.